Welcome back. Now, this is where things get very exciting. Why? Because remember, in the old days, we had to go through all these thousands of articles and make a decision about, is this relevant or is this not? And then say yay or nay to them, right? Now, what if we could train a bunch of AI bots to go through all of these articles, not just part of them, to go through all of these articles and then put in their vote, and then we will make our decision based on the level of agreement between these AI bots. That's exactly what we have built in this stage, which is pick and assist. Now, what we do here is we define the inclusion exclusion criteria for our project in this stage, and based on this we will train the bots and then ask them to go through our articles. Again, for inclusion exclusion, it is a very good idea to start not from scratch, because this is something that matters a lot in you being able to defend your inclusion exclusion criteria against reviewers and editors, and it really matters what comes out of the selection process. So here you can obviously spend more time defining it. Right now, I will just do one of the actual steps that I normally do, which is just copy the inclusion exclusion criteria from one of the articles in the field, and then based on that I will ask it to generate inclusion criteria. And again, don't worry about the format or typos or whatever that you type in here. There is an AI in the back. It will create it for you. This part is extremely important. As a human researcher, it is our duty to spend the time to review these criteria that AI has created for us. Now, of course, in building HubMeta, we have done our best in training the AI to make sure it doesn't produce hallucinations, bad stuff here. But still, this is your research. This is your job to carefully review all of these criteria. So here, for example, it is suggesting studies must be empirical and report sufficient sample size and outcome statistics. Studies must investigate the relationship between one or more operationalization of multinationality and financial performance. These are all very good. Sometimes, although we have kept instructing it to not have a language criteria here, sometimes you would just see, it says studies had to be in English language. Usually, if anything like that happens in the exclusion criteria, I remove it, because obviously we can't only have English languages. But anyways, after we are happy with our inclusion and exclusion criteria, we can now, of course, edit all of this, add one or remove one from this set. After we are happy with this inclusion exclusion criteria, it's a very important step to take a screenshot of this or keep it for your records, because later on in the actual project you would have to report this inclusion exclusion criteria. Then the next step is to set up the bots. So these are the AI bots. So think of them as tiny agents where you give them these instructions for inclusion and exclusion, and then one by one they go through the papers and look at the title and the abstract of the paper, compare it against this inclusion exclusion criteria. The only output they produce is a yes or a no vote. That's the only thing this AI bot does. Now think of it like, do we need only one? Of course not. We want more of them. So we have multiple language models to select from. This is a dynamic list. It will keep getting updated as new models come along. We will add them here, the ones that have been tested and produce good results. So far, I think Mistral Nemo is a good one. I usually have one from that. I usually try to have one from Qwen and one from GPT. And then here we add all of these bots. I can remove this one. Here is if you want to provide some extra instructions, like let's say you want this person to pay special attention to sample size being present. Make sure this article is not using that specific data set that you want, like something like that. Whatever the case is, you can add as many bots as you want, but usually, you want an odd number here, so an even number, because it just makes it easier to make a super majority when it is an odd number. After you set this up, you go to next, and then here it will show you which of your articles you want to include. You will say, is it you're just looking at the title, or do you want the full text too? That part is assuming that you have already downloaded the PDFs and you have them here. Are you looking only at the unscreened papers? All of them, different options are available here. And then when you click on start the screening, it will show you how many credits, how many AI credits will be used in doing this review for you. So this is where you might actually be incurring costs. So each of these credits is worth $50 in our current pricing model. And this is basically per each bot and per 1,000 articles that is going to run you down 1 credit. And that's, as I explained at the start, this is what we have to pay for external large language model providers, and you are only paying for what AI you actually use. After you confirm this, the 3 bots will start working on this. This is like hiring multiple research assistants, going through your literature and submitting their decisions. In the next video, I will show you after these decisions are made, how I use them to make my inclusion exclusion decisions.